Welcome to the Sisters Uncensored podcast, where we get into everything from childhood trauma to millennial adulting and all things in between.
We share crazy stories from the past and present to help us cope with the insanity that is our lives.
By sharing our perspectives, we hope to bring some relatability, laughter, and unsolicited advice that can help you survive the messiness of life along with us.
My name's Jessica Labita. I'm a millennial mom, wife, and marketing professional, and I am absolutely insane.
My name is Ashley Lanive. I am a millennial stay-at-home mom, avid golfer, and too mouthy for my own good.
We are real sisters, and this is Sisters Uncensored. Take this trip with us.
All right, so we're going to start off this podcast discussing some other fucked up families. So we talked about our fucked up family Olympics in a recent episode and some crazy stories about our family and our family members. And we are also true crime and like docu-series like mega fans. So we noticed that we picked a few that they're way more fucked up than we are.
100% way more
Which is
fucked
exciting.
up.
I feel like that's an achievement in and of itself. So round of applause.
Yes, winners.
Good
Gold
job.
medal. We no longer win the gold.
Yeah, no, definitely not. And the one that I want to start off with, if anybody's been watching it, is The Jinx.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Such an idiot.
Nobody's more fucked up than the Durst family. Okay.
Winners.
I don't think anything really tops that. Okay, so like to give a little play-by-play, if you haven't watched The Jinx, it was this true crime documentary that HBO did.
Yep, HBO.
And when they came out with it a few years back, it was a huge success. And the reason it was a big success is because this guy, Robert Durst, had a wife back in the 70s.
80s, yes.
Was it the 80s?
Yeah, the 80s.
Okay. Who went missing and was never found. And I mean, it was a completely different time. There wasn't cameras. There wasn't everything that we have now. So literally, she just disappeared. He said she got on a train to go back to Manhattan from like their place in Westchester or something like that. Nobody ever saw her again. Anyway, he had one wife disappeared. Then he moved in to the next door to this other guy who also goes missing.
Oh yeah, so he went on the run after like all the media picked up on him,
right,
supposedly killing his first wife. And so I think he was in Galveston, Texas.
Yes.
And he was like flying under the radar, dressing like a woman.
Yep.
Doing
Living
all
low
these
key.
things, like trying to like hide and
Yep.
pretend he no longer existed and like go off the radar completely. And it was the guy that lived next to him.
Yep.
That was the next part of the
Yeah,
story.
so the neighbor goes missing and they end up finding the neighbor basically chopped up into pieces, which is like, okay, listen, I'm just saying, you don't have a wife go missing and then also have a neighbor go missing. It just doesn't happen.
No.
And then to add to that, his best friend gets shot in her home and nobody knows who did it. So it was this huge docu-series, and basically they didn't tell anybody what was going to happen. Like when they were doing interviews and stuff, they just told them by the end, you're going to have some kind of resolution. And it was a huge hit. Long story short, Robert Durst gets caught on a hot mic doing this HBO interview with these people, and he gets caught on a hot mic basically saying that he killed them all. And it was a big deal. It was a really big deal.
Yeah.
So he has long since been convicted and I think died.
Yeah.
And they came out with a season 2. And now they're like going through all like the trial and everything like that for him being
So I think
charged with killing the best friend.
the first one ended, and it's basically him admitting that he killed all 3 of them.
Yep.
But there hadn't been like a trial or anything, and it was because he had done this documentary like a pompous fucking rich
narcissist
douchebag.
Yep.
Yeah. Who like he basically ratted himself out.
Yep.
And there was this letter that was written about the friend that was killed, and they called it the cadaver note. Yeah.
Yep.
And he's basically said the whole time, like, whoever wrote that note is the one who killed her.
Is the killer, yeah.
And then at the end, they show him the note and like another envelope that he had written, and the handwriting and the typos and the misspelling are all exactly the same. And they're
Right.
like, bro, you fucking did it.
Right.
And he was like, nah, like, it wasn't me, it wasn't me, it wasn't me.
Yeah.
Then he goes in the bathroom. That's when the hot mic thing happens. And he basically says, like, I killed them all.
Yeah, I've been caught.
So then the season 2 picks up on him basically admitting that he wrote this note, and now they're like trying to prove that he's the one who killed the friend, the woman, and they believe he killed her because she knew where the first wife's body was buried.
Exactly.
So
they
it's totally fucked up. Nobody in this guy's family talks to him.
I can't believe they don't even make a statement. I need to meet these people.
Apparently there are 6 siblings, and you only learn about the one brother in the documentary, but there are 6 of them.
I know.
I wonder if there's some sort of a like legal thing where they were not even allowed to mention them in this documentary.
I'm sure. I mean, these people are like equivalent to like Rockefellers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're like buku buck developers.
Super rich, yeah.
But still, like, I just can't believe it. Either way, they do talk a little bit about, or they do involve his second wife.
Yeah.
Which he clearly married so that she couldn't testify against him.
Oh, yeah.
In my opinion.
I think she knew everything all along.
I think so, too.
And like was his person that he could be like completely free and open with. She knew where all the bodies were buried, everyone he planned to kill, everybody he actually killed.
Yep.
Like that second guy, the neighbor, he actually went to court and was acquitted of the murder in self-defense, but he fucking chops this guy up into little pieces and is found guilty of dismemberment, but because they didn't charge him with the murder, he basically got off scot-free.
He basically did.
It makes no fucking sense.
Listen, here's where I'm coming from when I hear about somebody chopping up a body. First of all, that takes a lot of time. All right, I watch a lot of true crime documentaries. I'm telling you, that is not like, oh, okay, we'll just chop them up. We should be done in like 2 hours.
I can't imagine
it takes
it's
a
an
really
easy thing
long
to do.
time. Same thing goes for burning bodies. Huge misconception. People think that it's like, oh, okay, I'll just throw them in a fire pit and we're good to go. It takes so long to burn a body. I don't think people understand.
Speaking from your documentary experience and not personal experience, correct?
No, I didn't burn anybody.
Okay, just making
no,
sure.
but definitely my documentary experience. So listen, this is like, I consider myself an expert on like some level.
I've watched enough TV to make myself a professional.
Listen, it's basically like I got a degree. All right, this is what I have to fall back on.
True crime.
What I've learned from like true crime and Law and Order. Anyway, point being, and the Johnny Depp trial. Just saying. Anyway,
God, it was so good.
but like, point is I cannot, under any circumstances, find justification for dismembering a body. He claimed it was self-defense for whatever the nonsense reason, but even if you killed someone, right? Shot him, stabbed him, whatever it is. Self-defense, you call the police.
Yeah.
I don't care if your wife went missing or anything. Forensics will figure it out. It's
Right.
fine. But to think like, oh, the better way to handle this is probably to chop them up, throw them in garbage bags, all right?
Dump 'em in the water.
And dump them in the water. What a fucking dope.
Yeah.
I can't believe he got away with that. Either way, he's a fucked up individual, I'll tell you that much. But I want to talk to his family. His mother either fell off the roof or committed suicide when he was 7.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting
Yeah. So they
thing.
tried to like use that in his trial as a way to make the jury feel bad for him, because they're like implying that basically if that didn't happen, he wouldn't be like distraught, and then
That's
he
a
would never
terrible
be in these
defense.
situations. Oh my God, it was terrible. But this guy is like has a billions of dollars. So like his trust is, I think, so I'm curious because it's not over yet. I want to know how it's going to end because there's one episode left that I haven't seen.
So he gets convicted, obviously.
Yeah,
but
he definitely does. But I wonder if they're going to try to go after the wife.
That's what I want to see. And I'm wondering also when it takes place that they interview her. Was it before or after he died?
Right.
Because, I mean, if it's after he died, she just might be like, fuck it, he's dead. So this is what happened.
So
but
I don't think
she
they
could
will.
get charged.
And I think so the first wife's family is suing for a portion of the trust. And so I think if she is found guilty of having any involvement in helping or abating him or whatever
She gets nothing?
What's the word?
Aiding and abetting?
Aiding and abetting. Yeah,
or an accomplice of some type.
Right.
Yeah.
Abating, not a word.
No, it's okay.
Aiding and abetting him, that
Abating. That's a word. It's okay. I found out turtles couldn't come out of their shell when I was a sophomore in high school.
I thought
fine.
Alaska was an island until like last year. So
good times. Yeah. Wow. I'm gonna buy you a globe.
Good thing we're friends. Yeah. So anyway, I think if she's found guilty in any way of like associating with him and helping him, that they will win the trial and get some of the money.
So who's fighting for the money? Who has the money?
The second wife.
The second wife has it.
Yeah.
So why is she suing? She wants more?
She's not suing. The first wife, her family is suing.
Oh, the
for
first
trust,
wife's
the one he killed.
family.
Yes. Right.
Oh.
So I wonder if something crazy happens at the end of this one where it like could potentially lead into a third part where now they're going to try to...
Oh, I hope so. I will watch every documentary about this ever.
I don't know how you can prove that he killed that lady Susan because she knew
unless she knows where the body is.
Right, but how would you prove that? So the way the first
you
one
have to
ended,
know where the body is.
I can't wait.
That's the only way.
I can't wait.
That's the only way. You got to know where the body is.
That chick Deborah definitely knows where the body is.
She totally knows where the body is.
Yeah.
I thought it was very odd. Let me tell you something. Okay. And not that I have any intentions on doing this or anything like that, but if I'm ever in this man's position, okay, and I'm on trial, I expect my fucking husband to show up. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, this woman would not go there.
No.
I couldn't believe it.
She sent a lawyer, though.
Yeah, a criminal defense lawyer.
Right, because she's fucking guilty.
I know.
I'm telling you.
Still, it's not the point. You show up for your man. Show up.
Dude, he's like a cringy, like, skeleton.
I'd show up for you if you murdered people.
I know. I mean,
would. I'd be like,
we'd
I'm
probably
here
both
for
be
you,
on
you
trial
piece of shit.
Because you'd be
still
just
love
as guilty.
What?
If you're
I probably
killing
know
somebody,
about
I'm
it.
fucking helping you bury the
I'd
body.
come with my lawyer.
We're going to both be in trouble.
Yeah, probably.
That's the point.
I know how to dig a hole.
I know you do, but listen, I'm there. I got your back. I'm here. I'll help you.
I know how to dig a hole right.
Listen, all the true crime you watched, I think we might be able to get away with it, but...
All right, well, we can't burn a person. That'll take hours.
No.
Just so you know. But yeah, so that's a fucked up family. I would really like to hear from the brothers or anybody else in that family, like somebody close to him who could come out and be like, yo, he's been fucked up since childhood.
Probably.
Like, we always knew something was wrong with that one.
Yeah. All right, so let's go on to another show that we watched recently because me and Carly watched this one together.
Give it to me.
It is, I don't know if you've seen it or not yet, What Jennifer Did.
Yes.
Okay. So it's about this girl who lived in like British Columbia, Canada in 2015. Jennifer Pan is her name. And she's from like, I think they were Korean or something, her family, but they were very like strict, religious, very cultured family. They were super wealthy, I think, but not like
I think they came over and like
they worked
built
really
from the
hard.
ground up.
Yeah. And so they had high expectations for their daughter. And I think they were hard on her. They expected her to be the best of the best, the smartest and the brightest of the brightest. And she basically wasn't that kid. And she fell into a bad crowd and started dating this guy and conspired with him to have her parents killed because she didn't want to live under their rule of thumb anymore. Like, that's what happened.
I think the funniest part of that whole thing is that the guy and her ended up breaking up and he started seeing somebody else and she was trying to like continue this plot so that he would stay in touch with her. Like, it was like, that was fucking weird.
She was like obsessed with him.
Could you imagine? I would never kill my parents over a guy.
No, so this is what I'm saying. Like, we were rebellious.
Yeah.
But we would never even think of something like that. Like, how do you
think
cross
about,
that line?
All the things that people like commit murder of a family member over. You would never do it over a guy. When you're like 15, oh no, not 15. She's like 19, 20.
Yeah, she was in college.
Yeah, she was in
like
college.
a little older.
Yeah, I remember she was in like pharmacy
She was
school.
supposed to have graduated and she lied about graduating.
She was lying about going to school in general.
Yeah,
she
lied
had
about
a fake
ton.
diploma on her wall.
Yep, lied about everything. And then lied to the police, lied to like the counselor who was supposed to be her like helper because she put this whole thing into action and basically had them both shot, pretended that she got tied up in the house. Mm-hmm. And meanwhile, she's like gallivanting with the dudes that just came in and off their parents. I'm like, who the fuck does something like this? That's insane.
Did she have any siblings? I don't think so.
I don't think so. No, I think she was an only child.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
What would you do if Lindsay or Mark tried to kill one of our parents?
I don't know. I mean,
I'd need to know why. If it's dad, I'm gonna kill them.
Because
Dad's my bestie.
I can't no one's allowed to kill anyone in our family.
Well, obviously, but
I mean, we
still.
might say we're gonna kill each other, but we'll like never actually.
Definitely not.
The thought to actually, like, I can't even imagine. Sometimes I'm mad at our parents. There have been times as a like early teen 20s where I'm like, I would fucking kill them, right? Like I hated them at times in life.
But it never really crossed, like,
in my mind would it have dawned on me to like hire somebody to off them. Like, holy shit, you're fucking whacked.
No, definitely
Totally
not.
whacked.
You have to have some really deep-rooted issues to kill your parents. That's
So
fucked up.
I think Canadian law is like different, obviously,
It
than
totally
the
is.
United States, and they're like appealing this, and I think there's a solid chance. So I think she's in prison for life right now. Her and the guys that like helped her, the guys that actually shot the parents. The dad lived, by the way. Did we say that?
Did he live?
He lived. I think he lived. He was like in a coma because he's the one who...
I know he was in a coma, but I don't know if he pulled through.
No, I think he did. And he's the one who like...
He did.
He ratted.
And he was like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Throw the book at her.
Because at the end, they had like this whole like write-up that said he has a like lifetime restraining order against her. Like she's never allowed to go anywhere near her. Can you imagine having to put a lifetime restraining order on your kid for trying to kill you? Holy shit.
That's fucked up.
No, they win.
Yeah.
Like winners, gold medals.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really bad.
No.
That's bad.
Doesn't even come close to some of the shit we've done.
No.
God.
No.
No.
We're like child's play compared to that. That's insane. All right, what about, just since we're talking about British Columbia, the other show that...
Oh, Under the Bridge?
Yeah. I have to watch the last episode that just came out on Wednesday.
Yeah, I haven't watched it either.
But as far as I can tell, like that... So this was the hands down the most fucked up thing you could ever do to a parent, aside from kill them, obviously. So that show is about a girl who is murdered. She's murdered by a group of her peers, friends, whatever.
Yeah, Rena Verk. She was 14.
Yeah, and she was like the kind of girl who really wanted to fit in.
What's mind-boggling to me about this show is that these girls are the age of my daughter now.
I know.
And I watch the way that they behave, and it takes place in the 90s. Like
I know,
when
that
we were
took
that
me
age.
back.
So I'm looking at these girls, especially the blonde, and I'm like, bro, that was what I thought I was.
I know.
Like I thought I was such a badass, and then I see what trash they are and like the shit they're doing, and I'm like, ew. Like I can't believe I was ever like thinking that I was like that,
anything
or that
like
that was like cool.
Yes, that
you know?
it was cool. Exactly.
Like to be like a gangbanger and a pot smoker and like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like, ew, you're a dirtbag.
Oh my God, like the way they talk about Gotti and shit.
Yeah.
Oh
like they
my
want to be
God.
gangsters.
Oh my God.
I know.
Fucking
So
idiots.
they killed that girl Rena. That she was like bullied. She wanted to be like part of their crew.
Right.
They take her out to a bridge and beat the shit out of her, basically.
Right.
Which I think back to when I was 14 in high school.
Bleeding.
Yo, there were girls I went to school with that like beat up other girls with like locks and chains.
Do you remember that?
Can you imagine if they like someone had died? Like you're not thinking at 14 years old of what the consequences are, but I don't know. For me, I don't know if it was like the timing or the behavior or what, but it was like it was very relatable, which disgusted me.
I know, it was cringe. It was very cringy. I know exactly what you mean, because it took me back in time to that same place where I was like, this is how it was.
Ugh.
Like, ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
So gross. But either way, the one thing that happened in that story that really upset me was this girl, Rena, who had been killed, rest in peace. One of the things she did to try to fit in with this crowd of other girls. Okay, wait. The crowd of other girls, they all lived in like a group home.
Yeah.
Like they had all kinds of family issues. Yeah,
For
all
sure.
kinds of. The one was accused of like taking a knife to her niece's throat. It was like a little kid. I don't know if that's accurate, but that's how it's portrayed in the show. Like whatever. Anyway, so they all live in this group home, and Rena lives with a very stable family.
Yeah, they're super conservative, Jehovah Witness family.
Yep.
Which, again, this goes back to like the whole conservative upbringing thing that we've talked about. It's like, I get being conservative, but there's a line where if you push that so hard on a kid, they're going to completely
They're
switched
bound
the
to
other
go the
direction.
other way.
And that's exactly what happened with this kid.
She got super rebellious.
Yeah.
To the point where she wanted to move out from her house. Obviously, everybody at 16 wants to move out of their
Yeah,
house.
14,
15, whatever
16,
it is. Yeah. Everybody's like, I can do it.
Right.
Like, whatever. It's so dumb. But to get herself qualified to stay at that group home with those friends, I use that term loosely.
Yeah.
She accused her father of sexual assault on the show. Yep. I don't know if that's accurate for the actual story because I know it's based on a true story.
It's based on a true story and a book that was written.
Yeah, but I couldn't believe that her father was arrested on the show.
How humiliating, that poor man.
And then only to find out that she lied about it.
She wrote a letter in the group home and they found it that said like she didn't actually get molested.
Yeah, and like as you were saying before, like as far I lost my train of thought. Damn it.
That's all right.
Sorry.
So
it'll come to me.
Yeah. So I don't know. For me, like
the laws being different.
Yeah.
And like they just charged him.
Yeah,
they just like charged him. They're like, that's it. Now you're a registered sex offender.
Well,
that's it.
And I think too because it's like a predominantly white area where they were living, and they were an Indian family, I believe, and like they totally discriminate against this guy because he's brown.
Yeah,
like,
no questions asked.
Yeah, they didn't do anything. And I mean, the 90s were a bad time for like race riots and all kinds of shit going on. So like, I don't even think the guy got like fair shot to even defend himself. They just threw his ass right in jail.
That was
fucked up.
Heartbreaking.
It was not cool.
Heartbreaking. And when there's a point in the show that she wants to like come home because she realizes she made a mistake, but like the father couldn't let her in.
How many times did you threaten to call the cops on our parents when you were kids?
Never.
Oh, I definitely did. I was like, if you fucking touch me, I will call the police.
You're
right
such
to jail.
a fucking dick.
But
I do remember
the idea of like saying someone sexually assaulted me. Like,
no,
I would never.
No. That was never even like
they hit me.
No, I never threatened to call the cops.
My kids
on
have
them.
threatened to call the cops on me, saying like, if I like get mad and I'm like, get in your room, I'm gonna beat your ass, blah blah blah. They'll be like, I'm gonna call the cops.
Call them.
My response is, I know all the cops. Do it. I dare you.
You know where you're going to go?
Right to jail.
You're going to wish you were home. Trust
Right.
me. You were going to wish you were home. Mom used to take us to the police station.
All the time.
I know. Too many times.
For not buckling our seatbelts. One
Yeah.
time I'll never forget, she got pulled over by the cops.
Oh, I remember
And
this.
we were like driving on 23 and she never got pulled over. And I think it was you and I were in the far back. You know, we had
No,
that,
it was
like,
you and Lindsay.
We had that station wagon with the third row and we were turned around facing forward, but you were supposed to be facing out the back of the thing.
The Batmobile.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And she got pulled over and the police said they pulled her over because of us not being buckled in the back seat. And she
I was
like,
with her in the front.
just take them.
No.
She was crying.
No. The police officer comes to the window and he's like, do you know why I pulled you over? And she's like, I wasn't speeding. And he was like, because your kids in the back aren't buckled. And I'm telling you,
Hysterics.
I thought we were going to go to jail because she got pissed. Because she's told you guys 1,000 times to buckle your fucking seatbelt.
Whatever.
And you didn't. And she turns to the cop and she goes, you know what? And I was like, oh God, we're going to go to jail today. She's like, why don't you go back there and tell him? Because I've told him 1,000 times.
Yep.
And sure enough, he came walking around the back. I remember him opening the door and giving you
Yelling
guys a
us?
talking
Yeah.
to. But like the way she mouthed off to the cop, I was like,
We're going to jail.
We're going to jail.
Sobbing hysterically after he left. She told him to take us.
Well.
She was like, just take them. I was like, she's just giving us to this random police officer.
She's like, I got
good
2
luck.
more at home.
Go to jail. Oh my God. For not being buckled as like 7-year-olds. Like, pump the brakes, Deb. Calm down.
That's so funny in the Batmobile. Good times.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I would never think of putting my parents in that kind of a position like
That
this girl
is the
did.
worst
It is
thing I've
so
ever
fucked
seen.
up.
That was terrible.
Well, so I can't wait to see how this show ends because it's not over yet either. So I have to watch the rest of it.
So because I haven't watched,
I kind of want to read the book too.
Yeah, I would read the book. So wait, all right. Sorry, I short circuited. I had a lot to say. Okay, so because it's based on a true story, anything that's based on a true story,
All of these are based on a true story.
I know. So I go down rabbit holes on TikTok and social media and Google, and I will find out everything and anything I can find out about these people. All right, so I already know what happens.
Oh, No, you can't do that.
I do.
I purposefully don't do that because
I can't help myself.
I need to wait. Like, I wait until it's over and then I spiral and dig and dig and dig.
No, I couldn't help myself. Listen, I didn't want to find out specifically like who got what or whatever. I needed to know where these people are now. And let me tell you, one of them, that fucked up bitch Kelly.
Yeah, the psycho, the real psycho.
The one who came from like a good home too. Like,
yes.
Her poor parents. Oh my God.
So that was another thing too that's crazy.
So here's just an interesting thing that I learned about the Canadian justice system versus America. They can get things like day parole up there. So like this chick is allowed to go home like 5 nights a week, but she has to go back and stay in jail like 2 nights a week.
This is so stupid.
She got out on day parole twice and got pregnant.
Oh.
She's had 2 kids in jail.
I feel like I saw before the show came out, there were like interview clips or something that I saw, and it must have been her because she was talking about how basically she got pregnant and had her kid in jail and she was like handcuffed and stuff. And I stopped watching it because I think it's what brought this show to my attention. I was like, I don't want to know. I need to watch this.
Yes. Well,
so I still don't want to know. Don't tell me.
Well, here's what I can tell you. That girl, from what I found on Reddit, because like I said, that's like where you find like the really juicy shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's like where people go from like your hometown to really like air out your shit.
Yeah.
So I was down rabbit hole on Reddit, and people from her town who like grew up in like the same school as her and everything like that are like, she has been sadistic since she was a child.
And now
like
she's a mother.
8-9-year-old kid. Yeah, I know. How does she get to have any kind of custody of her kids? I just can't. She hasn't taken any accountability. She's very like
denies that she did it, or
she doesn't.
I want to know what happens to the kid, the boy. Because
so here's what I can tell you.
I kind of felt for him, and I think the show makes you feel for him. It seemed like he has a bad life.
I can tell you some. I mean, I don't want to do spoiler. Well, maybe I can do a spoiler alert because I think there's only 2 episodes left, and I don't know what number this is going to be out.
Yeah, I don't know.
Whatever. Either way, I can tell you that you cannot find him anywhere on social media or online anywhere.
Interesting.
I've looked everywhere. I think that kid knew he fucked up, did what he had to do, and got out, changed his life, and started over. New like identity. New name, witness protection type of shit, if you ask me. Smart. Yeah, because you can't find anything about believe me, I looked.
Ugh.
I looked.
Well, I mean, that's good. I hope that's actually the case. I guess once I finish watching it, I'm going to find out. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, but the other one is like,
ugh.
She's a bad egg.
They took the Mean Girls movie. Like, I'm watching this and I'm like, this is Mean Girls, but like ghetto ass, another level.
It was the time.
Mean Girls.
But do you like the pipe jeans? I can't believe I'm wearing pipe jeans right now. And we're talking about this since it's come back, which is so fucking funny to me. But like seeing them with like the big hoodies and like the Jenko jeans and like, oh my God, listening to Biggie. Oh my God. I was like, I love, part of me is like, I love this so much. They have diaries and like there's no phones and shit. Oh, it was the best. That was such a good time. But it was really cringy to watch.
Yeah.
It was so skanky.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It was skanky.
It really reminded me just so much of what we thought we wanted to be at that time, or like how, not that I ever thought I wanted to be like a gangster or anything, but like I just thought I was so fucking badass. And I see those girls like behaving probably similarly to the way I behaved, like fighting and doing dumb stuff, and I'm like, it's disgusting.
Yes, it's really bad.
Like that one hurt me the most.
I know,
because I was like, it's the closest to what actually probably could have happened in my life.
Yeah,
had I not gotten lucky or not been super stupid.
Well, I mean,
thank God.
Yeah, thank God. Let's just leave it at that. All right, let's pick another one.
Baby reindeer.
Oh my God. Okay. Wait, you start with this. I have so many thoughts I need to organize. Go ahead.
So Baby Reindeer was on Netflix. It's a show about this comedian who is a bartender. He's like trying to have a successful career as a comedian. He's working in a bar.
His comedy is shit.
His comedy is terrible. This heavy set like woman comes in and she's like older than him and upset. And so he gives her a cup of tea and he's just trying to be a nice guy. And she basically becomes like a full-on psycho stalker. You find out that the guy, like in trying to start his career, gets involved with a writer who feeds him all kinds of drugs, and he ends up like
molesting,
sexually assaulting
exactly.
him, raping him, which then like fucks him up even more because I think it like started to mess with his sexual orientation and what his preferences were because he was abused.
Right.
And I think the history of the abuse is kind of what allowed him to be sort of passive to this crazy person who was stalking him for as long as he did, because she did so much fucked up shit where like if that was you or me, I would have called the cops immediately.
I mean,
and he let it go for way too long.
He like entertained it. That was the problem.
And so there was like a sadistic bit to it where it's like he enjoyed it a little bit too
liked
much.
It.
I think he liked the attention.
I don't know. I think he was in a bad place.
Totally.
You know what I mean? So like just getting any kind of positive feedback was...
You know what was the saddest part about that to me is when he went... So he was another one, like came from a normal family,
really normal.
Good family,
Yeah.
Catholic family.
Yep.
You know, they seemed to really love him. And the thing that I caught on to, which I'm not sure other people did, is when he went home finally to tell his parents that he was bisexual and everything that had happened, and how he was raped and all these things, the dad told him, I was raised Catholic. Do you think?
I grew up in the Catholic Church.
Yeah, and basically like implied.
I know, and started to cry. It broke my heart.
It was so sad.
That was like the whole movie to me was that part. I mean, obviously there's the craziness, but that part where he sat down to like come out to his parents was so like,
I know.
God, it was so hard to watch. My heart broke for him. And I think a huge part of the reason that he was so fucked up was he had to have had these thoughts before.
Yeah.
And just struggled with
it.
You know what I mean? Like it just wasn't, I guess, acceptable in his home, or I don't know, but that broke my heart. And his mom was just so lovely, and his father was so lovely about it, and it was just, oh my God. Meanwhile, you got this batshit freaking stalker.
Yeah. So she like sent him thousands of text messages. She went to all his shows. She was like in his house. All kinds of crazy shit. Okay, so here's the thing. Did you watch the Piers Morgan interview after? Yes. So the Piers Morgan interview was an interview done, I guess the internet and social media found the woman Martha, who is the stalker in the series. Her real name is Fiona Harvey. Yep. And they found her and basically outed her to the world. So this psychopath decides to go on Piers Morgan and tell her side of the story, because she basically says it's all bullshit and that she never did any of the things that are depicted in the series. She says like the extreme. So wait a second, because this is based on a true story, they're like using factual numbers. You know what I mean? Like it's like 361 voicemails, 41,000 emails, like specific numbers. Yeah. And she's like, oh, no, like I might have emailed him once or twice. Like, just a joke. So my favorite part of that interview is she tells Piers Morgan in the beginning of the interview that she remembers things because she has a photographic memory. And claimed to have a photographic memory at the beginning of the interview. And then as he starts like grilling her with statistics and things that, like, at one point he was asking her about graduating college and what her degree was in. What kind of law degree did you get, I think? And he was trying to understand like what her major and minor were in school. It was like a very simple answer. Yeah. And she would not answer. And he was like, are you a lawyer? And she would not answer. And he's like, what kind of degree did you get? Would not answer. Like kept beating around the bush. And then when he's like, what grades? Oh, it was what grades did you get? I knew what kind of marks did you get in school? And she was like, oh, they were good. They were great. And he's like, no, but like what kind? Like what were they specifically? Above average. Yeah. And that's how she kept answering. Like she was eluding the question. And then finally he was like, didn't you like, you don't remember what grades you got specifically? And she's like, well, no, I can't remember everything. And I'm like, bitch, you just said you had a photographic memory. How do you not remember your grades in college? I could tell you my grades in college. Oh my God, you want to hear a funny story? Total sidebar when it comes to grades. So in high school, Dad told us
that when we would bring home our report cards, we got paid for the grades. So if you got an A, you got $20. If you got a B, you got 15. If you got a C, you got 10. D's and F's, you'd have to subtract. I gave this man my first marking period of freshman year. I gave him my report card, and it was honor roll, all A's and B's. It's like a $300 payday. It was excellent. I gave him the same report card every marking period for the next 4 years of high school.
This sounds very what Jennifer did, what Ashley did.
Oh, come on. I mean, I scammed him out of $300 every freaking marking period. But I mean, not for nothing. He should have looked at it and been like, why are you taking freshman math?
Your senior year.
You're a senior in high school. Yeah, like it was crazy, but I got away with it. It was pretty good.
This is because they didn't pay attention to us.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
All I know is that based on these conversations today and the shit that I've seen on real life story TV,
we're pretty normal.
We're not that fucked up.
No, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
We're okay.
It could be so much worse.
We turned out okay.
We haven't killed anyone.
We haven't even tried.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, no.
What? Hey. You must be referring to Lindsay, okay?
Well,
yeah.
I was more thinking like there's people I'd want to kill, but I mean, I have a list. Does everyone have a list, or is that just me? Like if you would off 3 people with getting away with it, do you have the list?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can tell you right now.
You don't have to tell me.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I don't want to know.
Why?
No.
They're unattainable people.
Oh, really?
Well,
mine are real life people. Go ahead.
Hillary Clinton, you're
Okay.
done as far as I'm concerned.
Fair.
Nancy Pelosi, you're another piece of shit. Last one, Farrah Abraham. That girl is a waste of space. That is just walking mental illness as far as I'm concerned.
I love that.
So all 3 gotta go.
Like 3 shots that's what you would take. Mine would not be. Mine would be like.
I actually have a top 5 list, but those are my top 3.
Okay, so the other 2 actually like.
Yep.
You'd probably get in trouble if you said it.
No, I mean, I won't say their names, but I could tell you that one of them was married to a good friend of mine years ago.
Oh, I know
and
exactly
cheated
who
on
it
her
is. Yep.
and put her through the worst I've ever seen somebody go through. It broke my heart. And this guy like doesn't even live far from me. I think he's like the next town over or something.
Oh my God.
I better never cross paths with him. I'm not even kidding. He's gonna get a loogie hawked out of it. Like I don't care. I'm still pissed about it. She's remarried. She's wonderful. She's happy. She's the most beautiful person. I love her to pieces. And I swear to God, if I ever run into that guy, I'm gonna make sure I bring it up.
He wouldn't be on your list before like Hillary?
No, because I think Hillary's really that terrible.
Okay.
Yeah, she's got to go. And same thing goes with Nancy Pelosi. She just makes me cringe with the way she clicks her teeth and shit.
Fair.
On tax dollar money is just like constantly drunk. I'm like, fuck you, you bitch. I can't stand her. She's a piece of shit. And then my last one would be somebody that was not a delight to work with for several years.
Oh.
I'd be like, bye. And I think I'd be doing the world a favor.
Do we have a nickname for this person that's like equivalent to an STD?
Syphilis.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Got it. I know exactly who it is. Okay. Yeah.
Did a lot of mean things to a lot of people, so I'm just not here for it.
All right. I'm not even hinting at who mine are because there's a chance it might happen someday, so I don't want to get caught.
I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that.
You know who you are.
I don't want to know. I'm just glad it's not me.
Oh, no, they know who.
All right, let's wrap it up.
So
that's how we know it's time.
I promise I'm not killing anyone yet.
Just stop. It's not funny. Somebody's going to take it seriously. God's sakes.
I won't. I promise. But we're not that fucked up. Our family Olympics do not even come close to some of these real life stories. But I think that makes me feel better.
Yeah, I mean, if we have to compare ourselves to the lowest common denominator to feel better, whatever. No big deal.
Yeah, we're good.
Anyway, if anybody can think of any other shows that based on true stories that have fucked up people and want to bring it to our attention, we've seen just about all of them, but I'm always open to new ones.
Same.
Seriously,
We
I
love the
love
true
this
crime.
shit. Exactly, I live for it. I find like the narration very soothing.
You're sick. You say I'm sick. You're sick.
It's true.
Anyway.
I go to sleep to it at night. I'm like, oh,
We
listen to
gotta
that.
go. You're a psychopath.
Whatever. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.